and the properties of them so that we have it all on one page and we can look back. Does everybody understand? Now, on page 39B, which is our quadrilateral family tree. How many sides does a quadrilateral have? 4. 4. So, 4-sided figures. I'm so proud of you. You did not take all class period. Now, one type of quadrilateral is a parallelogram, and underneath parallelograms are 3 other kinds. A kite is not a parallelogram. It is its own little thing. Now, does everybody see that we have a rhombus and a rectangle right here? What is both a rhombus and a rectangle?
Square.
We have proved our argument from the beginning of the year. Isn't it magic?
Oh no, we're not here.
All right. Are we ready to take our notes on rectangles in particular? This is what we're doing today, rectangles. Is everybody ready, or do we need a mo?
So I can do the little thingy do that you did.
You want to make yours pretty? Okay. I'll give you a mo. Anybody else need a mo to make theirs pretty?
I always want to make mine pretty, but I feel like I'm just going to mess it up and it's going to be ugly.
No, do it. You'll feel better. Just do it.
I know you can't, so that doesn't look right.
I want a good day today instead of.
I bet it would. Bet it would look beautiful even. Like you could use black and that would be pretty. Gray.
What time will you have this test graded? I want to know what I got.
Maybe you just took it yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a chance.
I wasn't rushing you. I was just asking.
Felt like you were rushing me.
But everything else all good.
Why didn't you come to see her period and finish?
I skipped 2.
I didn't know how to do.
Why didn't you look at your notes?
Taking the test.
But, I mean, like last night and then come finish it today.
I didn't think I'd do that.
I would not have known had you not just told me. Alright. Okay, guys. Here we go. We're going to ignore Blake now. And we're going to look on page 40A, where it talks about properties of rectangles. Now, our learning target for today. Look, I even left a space to write our learning target. Look at me go!
On purpose, though. Take a point.
It was.
Oh.
I would love to take a point. Thank you, baby.
You do that point to us, right?
It doesn't.
Wait, does it?
Not today. Because I actually did something right.
Great.
Alright, so today's learning target says, I can recognize and apply properties of rectangles. So this is our check. There's something wrong with you. This is our checklist for rectangles. Now, the first one says all 4 angles are right angles. What would it look like? And we're going to draw all of this on our little rectangle. That's why I left this one. What would it look like if all 4 angles were right angles? They all have the little boxes or the little square. Good. If you said that, take a point. Okay, what is the second thingamajig? And congruent. And congruent. Now, what would it look like if opposite sides are parallel? What would I need to put on my short sides? The little arrows. Good, Drake, take a point. I would put one, Blair. I would put one arrow there. What would I put on the top and bottom one? 2 arrows. Why could I not put 1?
Because
you already have 1, and this side is not parallel to the left side, correct? Okay, now what about congruent? What would it have to look like for it to be congruent? Tickies, good. Take a point, Montez.
What?
Oh,
That was me.
sorry. Take a point,
Come on,
Justin.
Jay.
Why are you defensive about it?
Right, you could have just taken it. All right, so 1 tickie on these sides, and what do we need to have on the top and bottom? 2 tickies. If they were all congruent, what would it be?
A square.
A square. And are all rectangles squares?
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Look at back at our thing. All rectangles are not squares, but all squares are rectangles. Does everybody understand? How does that make no sense, baby? Okay, well, when we get to properties of squares, it'll help you. But you know that squares have opposite sides that are parallel and congruent, right? They're just all congruent to each other. But on a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent.
We're about to have this whole argument for like another week.
We are, it's fine. Alright, opposite angles are congruent. Now, do we know the opposite angles are congruent here? Why do we know that? Because there's a box, and that means that they're both 90, right? So check, we did that. Consecutive angles are supplementary. How do we know that's true?
Because they're 90 degrees.
Okay,
180.
they add up to 180. Good, both of you take a point. Now, if I labeled this and I called it A, B, C, and D, how angry would that have made y'all if I changed that to E?
And I would say.
I almost did. I was like, is this going to freak them out? Now, which two would have to be consecutive? Name me 2 pairs of consecutive angles.
AC.
AB
No, AB.
and AD. Okay, so that's all with A. Now, why are A and C not consecutive?
Because they're opposite.
They're opposite. Good, take a point.
I was switching my numbers. C was where D was.
Okay. All right, what is consecutive with B?
BC.
BC and
AB.
AB. Good. All right, so are those supplementary?
Yeah.
Why?
Are they going?
Because 90 plus 90 is fantastic. The diagonals bisect each other. So could we draw that? All right, let's draw some fancy diagonals. Oh, 2 straight lines as opposed to curved lines.
I love curved lines.
All lines are straight.
Yes.
Curves are curves. All right, and let's call this middle point where they meet E. Now, they bisect each other, right? And what else does it tell us about diagonals? The diagonals are congruent. So would that mean that our bisected parts are congruent? Are you sure?
No.
Think about what we just said.
Yes.
These are congruent, right? So say BD was 6. What would AC have to be? And they bisect each other, right? And Cole's going to get off his phone because there's not an angel in his lap that's just he's looking down at. Thank you. Do you need to just start leaving it on my desk? Do we need to pull a camera in and do that? Okay. All right. Now, if this is 6, that means this one has to be 6. And it says they bisect each other. So what would AE be?
3.
What would DE be? What would EC be? What would EB be? EBB. So they're all congruent. So put 3 tickies. Ta-da! Yes, darling?
Whatever happened to the whole camera thing?
We are not doing the camera part. I'm doing that in a different class. We are turning in our samples of our work.
Oh, okay.
Is it because we didn't bring in our sheets?
No. It's because I like this. We're actually using it on this unit. I really like our quadrilateral unit for that. And it'll be able to show growth. That's the whole point. And then I like the video for my factoring unit in my other class.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But I am using y'all's class in particular. So, you know, show me your magic. Okay, now let's apply this to some problems. Now, quadrilateral ruts above, well, below, is a rectangle. If US is 6x plus 3 and RT is 7x minus 2, find x. Now, how could we do that? What do we know about US and RT?
They are equal.
Why are they equal?
Because they
Diagonals are congruent.
Diagonals are congruent. So what would we do with these two pieces? All right, how would I set it up?
6x plus 3 equals 7x minus 2.
Great job, zombies. Take a point. Very cult-like. Alright, what would I do now?
You would subtract 6.
6x, 7x.
I could subtract 6x and then I could also add 2, right? So I'm going to do it all at once because I'm a ninja. I'm going to subtract 6x. Then I'm going to use a different color and I'm going to add 2 so we can definitely,
5 equals 8.
humana.
5 equals 8.
5 equals x. Is that our final answer? Did it ask us to find the length of the thingies? Just find x. Good, we're done. You hate them? Why?
The diagonals aren't hard, like the outside ones, those cookies.
Well, are you talking about number 2? Number 2 is angles.
I know that.
Why?
It's just the way that's set up.
Okay, just watch this trick I learned in Nom. What do we know is the measure of this entire angle T? 90. Good. Take a point. Put a box there. Now, it tells us that STR is 8x plus 3, correct? And then it also tells us that UTR is 16x minus 9. Now, what can I do with that information?
You could set it equal.
Add them together.
Do we know that they're... Add them together and set it equal to... Fantastic. Take a point. Now, why could we not set it equal to each other? Do we know if the diagonals bisect the angles? No, we don't know anything about that. But we do know that the sum of this is 90. The total angle is 90. So we would take... Drake, did I tell you to take a point?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 8x plus 3. And we would add it to 16x minus 9. And we would set it equal to 90. Alright, solve it without me.
X equals 4.
Shh. Super proud. Give everybody a chance.
Question.
Yes.
If it just says to find STR, could you just put 8x plus 3 equals 90?
No, because that doesn't equal 90. That's not the whole angle. That's that top part that we highlighted in pink. So this part is STR, right?
Oh, I thought that was angle TSR. Like S was the okay. So.
No. When it says STR, that's outside, middle, out. That's a good question. Alright, what did we get for X?
4.
4. Now, did it ask us to just find X, or did it ask us to find the measure of angle STR?
Find STR.
Alright, so we need to say the measure of angle STR is equal to, now how are we going to find that?
Plug it back in.
Plug it back in.
Is it past here?
Yes.
Is Cameron Brown in there?
No.
Thank you.
He's on the field trip.
I'll send her an email. Alright, and 8 times 4 is? And 32 plus 3 is?
35.
35. Do you guys think that you could...
Yes.
do 3 and 4 without me? Do 3 and 4 without me. Girls, do you think you could stop talking? Thanks so much. Do 3 and 4 without me. See if you can figure it out with your group. Why did you divide it by 2?
Because it's asking for only half.
Because it's... Yes, it's asking for only half of the diagonal, and we know from our notes above that they're all congruent, right? So you would just cut 15 in half, and y'all got 7.5?
So the PH was basically useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a distractor. They do that a lot on the ACT. All right, are we done with 4, or do we need a mo? Okay. Remember, what's the sum of a triangle?
180.
Fantastic. What do you know? Okay, so this one is 62, right? What do you know about BE and AE? The lengths. They're congruent. So if those two sides are congruent, what do we know about the bottom angles?
They are 9.
They're congruent. That's isosceles triangles. Good. Take a point. So if we called this one X, what would this one down here have to be? So could you do X plus 62? Okay.
I think that's different.
There's more than one way to do it. Did you just subtract from 180 and cut it in half?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, I did 180 and then 26 times 2 minus that, and then that I had.
Where'd you get 26 from?
62.
Why did you multiply it by 2?
Because the two sides. Like
No.
C, E, D.
No. Yes, but why? Okay. Like this angle and this angle are congruent because they're vertical, but you don't need that.
But I need BEC. So what I did is I did.
Why?
Because BAC. Oh crap. Yeah. Crap. Completely ignore me.
Okay. Alright, so you could do this two ways. You could do X plus 62 and set it equal to 180. Or we could do 180 minus 62, which is what? And then cut that in half, which is? And that's our final answer. What'd you do, Tater?
I didn't divide by 2.
I subtracted the 180 and
Like what I did right here?
oh yeah,
Okay. But I'm glad that you saw that. Alright, does anybody have any questions? Okay, you have a rectangle maze for homework tonight. You have to show me. I don't need y'all's sarcasm. Okay? Okay, guys? Don't need it.
I said fun. What do you say about not lying?
Not you. The weirdos over there. Can you look at Wednesday's drawer and
Guadalupe.
Yeah, the
Guadalupe.
Yeah, Guadalupe.
Okay, I got you.
Alright, now, on this maze, you have a second sheet where you have to show me your work. So the first maze has the information and then it tells you which way to go. The second page, you have to show me your work. Does everybody understand? And everybody has a different one. Isn't it magic? So you heifers can't cheat.
Cheating
I didn't call me fast.
and partner stuff.